Here in Southern California, you get a really beautiful pink hue to the light in the morning as it comes across the desert and the mountains. And in the afternoon, you get incredibly beautiful yellow honey light. I was amazed that it was so energetic and so strong. My name is Richard Stampton. My practice is Richard Stampton Architects, and today we're in my house. The house is in Silver Lake, which is in East Los Angeles. Silver Lake is a very beautiful part of LA. It's green and it's also full of really great mid-century, early mid-century architecture. The brief for the project was to reuse as much as we could. And that's always the starting point for almost all the projects we do that aren't new builds. And also to maintain, expand and sort of develop a new presence here on the site. I like to make sure that buildings don't stand out too much and fit in as best they can without just mimicking what was there before, what surrounds it. We did want something that was a little bit of a secluded, private, quiet space, because LA can get quite busy and hectic sometimes. So that was one of the first things we discussed with David from Terremoto, was how to make the garden private.
My name is David Godshall. I'm a landscape architect at Terremoto, and my role in this project was garden designer. The first time we met with Richard, we showed him a landscape design that had some features to it, just modest things, but he very politely and quickly made it clear that he didn't want anything but a wild garden. So the next time we met, we eliminated all those site features and instead kind of like honed in on the quality of plants that we wanted to plant.
David is awesome. Terremoto do some of the best work here in California and elsewhere. I knew about their work before coming to LA a little bit, and he, as it turns out, knew about my work. One day I was hiking around Echo Park, which is the suburb next to Silver Lake, where his old office used to be, and I walked past and noticed, I think, a very small sign in the window, and I fortuitously stuck my head in the window and said, "Is this Terremoto?" And that's where we started our friendship. This was an existing structure. It was taken back to the studs, to the frame and the structure, and then re-clad and all new openings and ceilings. But we wanted to keep the main structure because it was really old hardwood and in really good condition. Not much had been done to it since then. Interestingly enough, there was a speakeasy downstairs from Prohibition times, and that's why there's an extra laneway entry and a door downstairs. The bar was actually fully stocked, empty bottles when we arrived. There was also 3 really beautiful trees, and that was the main reason we bought the property: the fig tree out this window, and the citrus tree, orange tree, and the lemon tree. When you enter the house from the front door, to your left is the kitchen and living space and dining. To your right are the bedrooms and bathrooms. And downstairs is the downstairs living room with that picture window looking onto the garden. And out to the west of the garden, near the lemon tree, is my office. The material palette for this project is simple and warm and includes some beautiful local Douglas fir timber. The pink marble was a great addition. We went to a marble yard to pick out the marble for the pieces, and we saw a beautiful pink slab in the corner that was apparently from the 1950s, and it was incredibly cheap, and we fell in love with it. The connection between the house and the garden, and something that I love about America and the Northern Hemisphere, is the deciduous trees and how that changes throughout the year from winter to summer. Right now we're in summer, and you look out each window and there's big bunches of green plants, the fig tree, the orange tree. In winter, it really opens up and you get to see the skyline across Los Angeles, and we're lucky enough to get a view straight to Catalina Island.
A quietly important feature of this garden is that it actually doesn't have an irrigation system. When we were building the project, I asked Richard if he would be willing to hand water the garden through establishment, and he said that he would. I think there's a funny thing in the design world where there's this predilection for landscapes that are sparse and minimalist. And I think most types of homes, it's nice to juxtapose crisp architectural geometries with just wild planting. That juxtaposition is kind of energizing and cool. I hope that as people enter this space or walk by on the street, that they at the same time feel a sense of tranquility and peace, but perhaps are intrigued and feel a sense of mystery as to why this beautiful little bungalow is so hidden behind such dense planting.
It was very challenging to build here during the pandemic. We did it remotely from Phillip Island and Sydney, and it required a lot of trust in the contractors that we had. It also required some flexibility in the design. There were a lot of amendments throughout the construction process. One moment we love is in the morning when we wake up to open the door of the bedroom and look out to this main space and see the high ceiling with the column, the timber column, holding it up like a tent. One of the things I'm most proud of with this project, which is one of the things I try to achieve in all our projects, is that people passing by often stop and ask us if this is a new house or if it's always been here. And that's one of the things in my practice that I always try to achieve, is something that slowly gains presence. It doesn't stand out from the start. It takes a few viewings or a few passings by to sort of sit in the mind and settle.